And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me for yet another free episode of Conversations with Michael. We get together once a month to tune in to what's going on as we look at the world at large a little bit, but more importantly, we look at our own reality. And in this live monthly show, I like to openly share the relationship that I've allowed into my life with my own soul nature, my own eternal self, Mikiel, and in a way to inspire each of you to enjoy the benefits and to prepare you for some of the challenges because it is a little challenging. So we're streaming live here from our home studio just outside Portland, Oregon. And of course, we welcome all of you who are watching or listening through the Zoom software or on our website through the YouTube live stream. We'll continue to use Zoom, even though it's also available through YouTube Live, because it allows us to be an interactive webinar and allows you to watch on any device in not just video, but also in audio. And as well, because this is interactive, we allow those who are signed up through Zoom to submit any questions that you have for Michael towards the end of the show. And as those of you who have been watching this broadcast over the years, you know it sells out fairly quickly, at least on the Zoom end. And that's kind of why we've added the YouTube Live feature as well. So welcome all of you that have either signed up through Zoom or are watching on our website as I speak. Starting next month, we've got some exciting new feature here with Conversations with Michael. We've decided to invite some of, our good friends and very special guests to be on this show with us. And next month, my dear friend, Jeffrey Hoppy of the Crimson Circle will be my guest. And I invite all of you who haven't already to go ahead and register through Zoom for that show. It's almost sold out. There's a few more openings for you if you'd like to participate on the Zoom network. But of course, as well, it'll be available for free through the YouTube live stream on our website. And if you are new to the teachings of Michael, I also invite you to visit our website and explore the variety of programs and services we offer. We serve the awakened human being who is now ready to develop a conscious relationship with their own soul nature. We also want to thank all of those who have chosen to contribute to the teachings of Michael. Your support allows us to continue to offer a variety of free programs and services, and we are very grateful for that ongoing support. So let's take a deep breath here as everyone begins to settle in. Let me as Robert, make a few quick announcements before I turn this over to Michael. So some upcoming events, and one that actually just happened recently in Enlightened Life is now available in our subscription-based video program. This is a 3-part in-studio class that was presented to a live sold-out online audience on December the 29th. So if you missed this class, you can now access the video stream for up to 90 days. And we are also offering a special discount for the next 30 days to anyone that feels inspired to participate in the video stream of that class. Part 1 of that class, Michael talked quite a bit. In fact, he devoted the entire hour towards the status of our light body in relationship with our carbon-based body. He offered a lot of clear and practical tools that help to enhance that relationship, which of course can then also deepen your connection with your own soul nature. So I highly recommend it. Of course, I highly recommend everything that we're doing here, but I felt that what Michael was sharing in relationship to this etheric body was very pertinent to what so many of you are either enjoying or struggling with right now. We have another upcoming in-studio class called Shining Your Radiance, and that starts on March the 30th. These, of course, are all-day workshops from 10 o'clock in the morning to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And with all of our classes, programs, and courses and private sessions, you get to participate from the comfort of your home. The class includes, as all of our classes do, 90-day access to the recording after the live event. Every in-studio class offers a really basic outline, but really, to be honest, Michael tunes in to every one of you that chosen to participate, and his service is to you, not to the outline of the course, but to you personally. He does this as well in relationship to the iSpirit program. There's never a repeat of what's being presented. It's all customized as we tune in to where each of you are at in your own life, in your own relationship with your own soul nature, to be of greatest service to you personally. And speaking of the iSpirit program, of course, you can now sign up for the 2018 iSpirit 1 6-month course starting on April the 13th. Class size is limited. This is a 6-month journey with live bi-weekly sessions with Michael, joined, of course, with the presence of Metatron and Yeshua. iSpirit 1 embraces the art of living your life consciously, allowing the light of your own consciousness to transcend the life you inherited in a safe, supportive, and loving environment. One of my favorite programs, because I'm involved with those who sign up on a bi-weekly basis and on a daily basis, as I kind of tune into the group and where you're going with what you're being asked to participate in. I really very much enjoy that kind of intimacy and, of course, that kind of trust. So feel free to go to our website if that is something you'd like to participate in. Most of our classes and courses are limited in class size. Therefore, they do fill up rather quickly. If you're inspired, feel free to sign up sooner than later. And finally, if you haven't already, we have created a new monthly newsletter format that's available as a download in a PDF version or as an online flip magazine format. And feel free to check out the newest newsletter, something that I, Robert, enjoy very much creating and sharing with all of you, and these new ways that are available to all of us in ways that, well, they weren't 10 years ago. So let's all take a deep breath here, and thank you for patiently listening to what I am presenting. It's the only promotion I do on any of our programs and services is through conversations with Michael. Take a deep breath and allow the presence of those dear friends of ours that are just on the other side, really right next to us, that are here in loving support for what we've chosen to do. A grand choice we've all made. And let's take another deep breath as we just feel into the presence of our own physical body from a place of gratitude, from a place of appreciation. It's the body itself it's always the last to really get what our heart already knows, what our heart already has invoked. It's the last to show the manifestation of what we already feel. And so it asks of us to be a little more patient, just a little more patient as it works with us to move into a more crystalline-based body, a body that is new to this carbon-based body. Indeed. Thank you, Robert. It is I, Michael, and of course it is my joy, my pleasure, and As always, my honor to be with this particular group. I work with a lot of human beings in a variety of different ways, but with this group, I get to be very direct. For I'm speaking here to the masters, am I not? I'm speaking to the masters, the ones that chose to be here at this time because you saw that this was the lifetime that not only offered to each of you individually the greatest potential to have an embodied, enlightened experience, but you also saw that that choice to make that a personal experience also had the potential of having the greatest impact on all of creation. And so here we are speaking to those of you who are at the forefront of this potential, at the forefront of this opportunity, at the forefront of this change. There aren't many, are there? More than there ever has been, all at the same time, but still, you look around you at the rest of your human family, you look at your biological family members, you look at your coworkers, you look at your neighbors, you look at those that are shopping with food, for food with you at your grocery store. Not too many that are actually consciously involved, consciously aware that they are more than just that human personality. It was during your awakening experience that you came to realize that you are not this carbon-based body. It doesn't represent your natural state of consciousness. And so a lot of you initially, most of you in every other previous lifetime, the solution to that realization, well, get out of it. Well, of course, if you're not this carbon-based body, and if a carbon-based body is not capable of truly representing the presence of your own consciousness, why be in it? Why endure being stuck inside this carbon-based body? You began to realize in this lifetime, it supports itself by extracting energies from outside of it. And it requires a great deal of maintenance. None of these things were very appealing to you. And as we began to present to you how it was so important, if not vital, for you from your own perspective to free yourself from being entangled in relationships of those outside of you and from within that have denied you your freedom, that distract you from obtaining this freedom, from allowing this presence that is already free to be with you. Because this experience to become a master here on earth requires your full attention. Does it not? Does it not? Many of you noticed that your relationship to supporting this carbon-based body has now changed. And that's changed because of a choice you've made. You've changed your diet to help alleviate some of the discomfort in the body. You've changed and accommodated a different sleeping pattern. Now, we know the sleeping pattern for most of you feels like that was imposed. That wasn't a choice. But all this is based on shifting out of this limited reality that you inherited to allow yourself to enjoy the freedom of being surrounded by and embodied with a crystalline energy. So let's just take a moment to acknowledge the existence of your etheric body from a place where you've made a choice not to reconnect with the etheric body by leaving this planet. You've made a different choice, a choice that has you very much aware that this etheric body is but a few inches outside this carbon-based body that you inherited, that you were birthed into, because it accommodates the collective consciousness of your human family. Notice as we begin just to breathe with the presence of your etheric body, your light body, how its presence, its radiance changes how your carbon-based body is feeling. Let's take another breath with that. And just let yourself relax into feeling the radiance of this etheric body, your light body, that's always been there. And many of you spent most of your childhood with one foot in this carbon-based body and one foot in this etheric body. But now, as an adult, you've made a really bold choice. You're aware of both bodies, the light body and the carbon-based body, and you're aware that at best, this is a really awkward relationship. At best, this is a really awkward relationship. The vast majority of your ascended masters shifted their allegiance to the etheric body. And this choice shifted their connection or allegiance to this physical reality. And you know the story for most of them, if not all of them. Their stay here on Earth was very short, was very limited. They didn't really enjoy some of the things that some of you are just beginning to enjoy. How it feels to have both the carbon base and the light body dancing together. It's not an either or. It's not a right or wrong. It is a dance between complete opposites. And so this group that we are speaking to today has made a very different choice from those that have walked this path before you. You actually believe that these two complete opposites can coexist. That's why we bow before you, dear ones, because you are so determined to prove this point that you're willing to literally go through hell to make it real. And let's just acknowledge that. Let's just acknowledge that it wasn't going to turn into what the New Age presented to you. It wasn't going to be instant bliss and ecstasy just because you allowed the lightness of who you are. Because you have allowed the light of your own consciousness to be also in relationship with this carbon-based body, you have literally gone through the most difficult challenge that any human being could ever imagine. You know, and we've presented it before, but there's these games you call your Olympics that are for the finest athletes in the world to come together and to demonstrate that if you devote yourself to extreme physical hardship, devote yourself to the excellence of that carbon-based body, that it can perform at a level unknown and unseen and unexperienced by the majority of fellow carbon-based human beings. But what you have gone through, there is no Olympian that could touch the challenges that each of you have not only endured, but have said, bring it on. If this is what I have to go through to own my freedom and stay here in a physical reality, what's become a quasi-physical reality, then bring it on. Why are you so devoted, dear ones? It's not just because of your pride to prove a point. Why are you so devoted to this? It's because there have been others who have also walked this path before you. And their service, in part, is now to serve you. And you are so touched by that kind of support base, that kind of compassion, that kind of loyalty, that you recognize now that your life becomes a living model, a living example for all future generations that come to this earth. Oh, don't take our word for it. Let's take a deep breath here. Tune in to, let's say, 100 years from now on Earth. And what do you see? What do you see? Take another breath and just playfully tune in to what's going on this planet Earth 200 years from now. What do you see there, dear ones? And for those that you do see that have discovered the joy of life, that have rediscovered the sacredness of life, who are they looking at for inspiration? Oh, you see it, but you don't really want to own this now because we get it. You're still kind of in that place where you're struggling with the challenges to allow for this embodiment to become real. But you did see it. Most of you did. They're looking at you. They're looking at your life. Not that you're doing it because you want to be looked at and because you really want to be acknowledged. You don't want any of that. But you are interested in providing the same kind of compassion that others that have walked before you. You are so grateful for that, how that has served you, that within your own heart, it is guiding you to offer the same service to future generations. For most of you, you'll never come back to this earth again. This is it. You made sure this was it. And that's why you've made it into such a huge, sometimes drama affair challenge, because you're in a way forcing what could have happened in several lifetimes into one. Because you've had it. You've had it with the whole reincarnation bit. You're just really into this being it. So let's take a deep breath here. For you to get where you are now, you had to accept and acknowledge that you were indeed born into this carbon-based body. And you realize pretty quickly that the carbon-based body relies on energy from outside of itself to support a carbon-based cellular structure. You also came to realize that you are more than this. Your etheric body doesn't need to rely on anything outside of itself. in order to support itself, which translated in this human experience, your etheric body, your light body, doesn't require eating food or sleeping to support itself. Now, from our perspective, this type of coexistence between two complete opposites not only changes your life, but it has a huge impact on all of creation. That's why you chose this life, because you recognized Earth was a place to resolve a galactic dilemma, that before Earth was even created, all of creation had not resolved the pattern of extracting, stealing, consuming energies outside of themselves. There was this ongoing feeling that the only place that would feel safe, because it didn't feel safe coexisting here on the other side of the kingdom, was to return to your original comfort zone, the kingdom, home itself. And so for this shift to become real, your allegiance to a singular identity had to expand. And for many of you, that expansion occurred by practicing channeling, a wonderful tool, a necessary tool. It allowed for you to get comfortable with the opposite of who you are as a conditioned human being that's stuck inside of a carbon-based body, and this other presence, whoever it was that you were channeling for, that wasn't stuck, that had a crystalline body, that was free, already knew joy, and was willing to share its presence with this carbon-based reality. For many of you, you have and continue to rely on that model of these complete opposites as an example to inspire you to do the same. What surprised us working here with Robert is he decided to no longer rely on the channeling format as an example. He wanted to show you that it could be just as real and, in some ways, provide a more tangible, concrete relationship for each of you that would allow you to see that it is compatible. Now, he's not inviting you to visit his home so you can see all the clumsy ways he goes about his life as a human being when it's just about Robert. But he is inviting you to see the natural transition from the human to the soul, and not call it channeling. So as all of you know, one moment, from your own personal experience, each of you know that when this is presented to you, the integration of the human and soul, it doesn't sound too difficult when you accept it more as a concept or just as a theory. But if it's to become tangible and to be actually become a physical day-to-day experience from your human perspective, there's a requirement here. It truly takes a human master. This is really all about mastery. This isn't something that you can just play with as a hobby. We say it again. All the Olympians who have ever participated in that grand event to show the excellence of what a carbon-based body is capable of doing, they don't come close to what you have chosen to excel at. The excellence of accepting your carbon-based human body, of accepting the conditioned human personality. And the mastery went to a place that asked of you to allow what others don't even feel. That most of humanity would say, well, you're just making that up. How do we know it's real? We've invited you to provide a type of evidence to show them that the integration has actually changed the DNA pattern of your carbon-based body. And if some of you would have done, well, every 2-year test, that would have been living proof that something indeed has actually shifted in the body, but you didn't want the attention. You didn't want to become potentially a guinea pig for some scientist or biologist who would look at your body and say, well, what is it that you have done that's different? But their instruments aren't capable yet of measuring consciousness. So it would be a fluke. It would be put in the category of yet another human mystery. Your life. And so it does require you, as each of you have really embraced this whole notion of self-mastery with all your heart. It takes one that's willing to truly endure all the challenges one will face to literally integrate these complete opposites. A carbon-based body with a light body, an etheric body, coexisting, living together. A human mind, allowing your heart to coexist from a place of cooperation. The whole concept of the light and the dark of creation, finding within yourself a place to allow both these aspects of your own self to coexist. To tune into the kingdom, home, your original comfort zone, and to allow it to be what it has been in relationship with you now choosing to be a sovereign creator. You see, none of these opposites were known when you lived in the kingdom. This is all new, dear ones. And here on earth, you get it thrown in your face unlike any other place in all of creation. Literally, there's no place to hide from these opposites. And of course, what some of you did in the past was subscribe to some of the beliefs that were created here because they were created before Earth was created. Some of you subscribe to them. Some of you know this firsthand as a soul. That if it didn't exist in the kingdom, that it must not be real. If the dark did not exist in the kingdom, if the wounded mother and father of creation never existed in the kingdom, then this all must be an illusion. And so where most of creation got stuck was in the opposites of those that adhered to what was known as being real in the kingdom and then claiming what was outside of the kingdom, all of you, must be an illusion. And so religions were created to support that belief, to help you get back. Because if this is an illusion that feels like hell, who would want to stay here? Until some beings remembered that you weren't forced to be here. You volunteered to be here in this reality that feels very separate from the kingdom, very different from the qualities of life that you knew to be real in the kingdom. So how do we work with these apparent opposites? Just as some had discovered that what was offered was a gift, not a curse. The gift was to be whatever you want to be without any influence, any control, any agenda attached to it. Be whatever you want to be was the gift handed to all of creation by the source of life. Those who took ownership of the gift and now live that gift in action are what you call your ascended masters. You see, spirit or consciousness doesn't have any problem with opposites. When you allow for the presence of consciousness, which was with you and has always been with you since you accepted the gift and left home, spirit, consciousness, doesn't see opposites as being separate from itself. Are we understanding, dear ones? How do we work with these apparent opposites? How do we work with what is going on in your own personal life here on earth? It's very simple, but it takes someone that's willing to go far beyond what any Olympian has ever agreed to. It takes someone who simply allows the presence that is already fearless to live alongside the human parts that are scared shitless of life. And that's what you are doing. And so it is completely natural for the human part to be shaking in its boots, to feel weak in the knees, to feel unqualified, to feel undeserving, to feel not worthy of any of this, because you've subscribed to what humanity is stuck in. Pushing against the opposites of yourself. That's been life for much of creation for a very long time. Pushing against the opposites. We invited Robert to go see the latest Star Wars movie, and Coco and him sat through it, and half hour into it, they were just looking at going, why? I mean, it's just one battle after another. What's the point? I mean, that's such an old story. It no longer fits. There's no longer any joy in seeing one represent the light win because they defeated what's called the dark. Something is changing here on earth. that allows complete opposites to coexist, which allows complete opposites to coexist in all of creation, and allows those who choose to love themselves to not be interfered with. But it's an open door to any reality that is filled and supported with a foundation that's based in love. All are welcome. You just need to love yourself. How do I love myself? Creation would say, you say, come to earth. Come to earth. It's the most potent place to know thyself. Because here on earth, you experience the human self in that long history of fighting for your rights, equal rights. That's connected very much to your galactic story, and it's been translated into your human experience. Doesn't matter if those rights are being denied because of your gender, your sexual preference, the color of your skin, a certain culture, whatever it might be. These basic rights haven't been freely given to you as a human being. You had to fight for them. And that's been the story. In relationship with the soul, your human self, now hear me out on this, please. In relationship with the soul, your human self is still choosing what rights to grant the soul in this new relationship. And as Michael, my question to all of you is, how is that going? You have this whole history of having to fight for just basic human rights. And now, really, human? The condition human? Are you going to project that story in the relationship that's being provided here, being offered here with your soul? Let's break that down. How does your carbon-based body feel about not eating or sleeping? Is it being denied its right to eat 3 meals a day and to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night? How does your human personality feel about letting go of always being in control? The one that kind of with white knuckles hanging on to the steering wheel of your life, making choices for you without trusting the presence of another part of you that's already free? The problem for your human self is that in this new relationship, and it is new, your soul isn't demanding to be treated equally. It doesn't need to. It's already free. Let's take a breath there. And so these roles are reversed for your human self, as it's always been in the past about others denying you your freedom. But in this fresh new moment, is your human self now ready to trust that truly your soul has no agenda? If it did, you would be aware of it by now. Your soul doesn't have some kind of hidden agenda. If it did, after you allowed it in, you would be experiencing it now. So let's be real here. Has your human self ever experienced such a trust? No. So is this new? Is this new for your human personality? Is this new for these carbon-based cells in your body to trust that it could actually coexist with a crystalline energy? This is all new. But in this fresh, new, and sacred moment is now, dear ones, a good time to let go of the steering wheel of your life and to coexist with the presence of your soul. If you have answered with a very clear yes, then I, Michael, promise you, you will never feel alone again, ever. And that alone inspires your human personality to trust. Because truly, its greatest fear is being all alone. It is and has always felt so alone, so separate. It's wanted to believe that what is being presented through the teachings of Michael, that this is real. And so Robert has said to me 10 years ago, it's not going to be real if we keep calling you a channeled version. And I said to him, do you know what you're suggesting, my dear friend? Then you'd have to own it. And so he did. He has. And it's not perfect. And he's learned to be okay with the human part that will never be perfect. But he just can't bear feeling separate from me. Why, he says, why would I want to experience that kind of separation when what's being offered to me is an unconditional relationship that has no agenda? I, as Robert, would look so stupid as I have and did most of my life and most of my previous lifetimes. I'm tired. I grew tired at looking in the mirror and going, what a really stupid choice to say no when I'm not stupid, when I'm not that unwise. I choose life. I choose my freedom. It just requires to be in a relationship with another part of me that has no agenda. What do I say now? Well, it's a tough job, but someone has to do it. Be in a relationship with a part of you that loves you unconditionally. It's really a tough job, but someone had to do it. I'm not saying that to belittle or to undermine or judge any of you. I'm saying it from a place of joy. I'm wanting to make light of this because I too was there for the majority of my experiences of every single lifetime I've been here. It's a tough job. Having another part of you in your life whose radiance combined with this carbon-based body attracts to you all that you want from your human perspective, all that you could possibly need and more. My job is, Robert, hang on to the steering wheel and let Michael's hands join me. Put my foot on the gas pedal and let Michael's foot join me. And just because he likes to put the pedal to the metal, most of the time, my job is to stop hitting the brake, because I have noticed just because the pedal's to the metal, no harm has come to me. The only time I experience any discomfort now is when I hit the brake and don't trust the presence of this consciousness. Are we understanding here today where we are at and where each of you are one breath away if you're not already there? Indeed. We have quite a few questions here today. So, Robert, I need your help, and I'm going to get to them here. The first question is, an upcoming disease reminds me that I have not made the clear decision to stay after enlightenment. Having lost most passion, there is not much to keep me here. At the same time, fear of leaving and a wish to stay holds me back on my path to enlightenment. How do I get out of that dynamic? So, your etheric body is disease-free. But for you to experience that kind of freedom, you would have to get out of your head. You'd have to stop listening to the thoughts that tell you you are sick. Oh, they are telling you the state of your carbon-based body, but you'd also have to give yourself the freedom to speak on behalf of a body, an etheric body that does not know diseasement. To your mind, it's going to sound like you're just making that up. And that's okay. That's the passion, to believe that what you're imagining is just as real as what has been put right in front of you as being the only thing that's real. You're experiencing what you're experiencing in the carbon-based body, and it is real. But if you shift your allegiance to not just being a reaction to what the carbon-based body is experiencing, but what your etheric body can do to assist the carbon-based body, then it allows you and your soul to have a very different relationship here. Now, if you choose to leave, you are going to be honored by me and every other being in service to freedom, in service from a place of love, whether you stay here or whether you leave. And if it truly is your time to leave because you're just done, then we love you. There is waiting for you, whether you stay longer or leave, a grand, grand celebration on your behalf, because you were here, because you are here. So that would ask me to ask you, are you listening to something else going inside your head? Are there more condemning thoughts, self-critical thoughts? And my question to you is, why are you listening to them as if those are your truth? If you need to, just make up some thoughts. Make up how you would like to feel. Pretend to feel healthy just because you like how that feels. Pretend that the thoughts that would accommodate feeling healthy are just as real as the thoughts that are only seeing a carbon-based disease. You have that freedom too. But it matters not to us what you do with this. The fact that you came here was enough. It was enough. Now, if you want more, God bless you. Take it. But if you've had enough, there is no judgment here. There is only honor and respect. Indeed. We have someone wanting to share with all of you. Good morning, beautiful souls. So we will share that with all of you. We have another one saying these last 10 days have been intense. First 7 with panic attacks, following by shaking. Last 3 with aspects not wanting to be on Earth and having panic attacks coming for a visit. I decided to take an alternate route this time instead of being so caught up in this. I took a long, warm bath for my feet and started hugging myself and lulling myself. This created a warmth in all of this panic and shock in the body. Today, I got so tired that I just laid on the bed and let go. It felt really good. Any words of wisdom to share? Yes. Sometimes you're just your own best teacher, aren't you not? Sometimes you realize, I know what to do. I'm just going to love myself. Sometimes in this transition, what the carbon-based body goes through, you just have to allow it and accept it. But it's not you. It's just the carbon-based body that you're choosing to have a relationship with. The carbon-based body, the conditioned human mind, these conditioned emotions all are reacting to the presence of your own consciousness. They're freaking out. Your passion for wanting to have this become a more embodied, tangible relationship has you determined to be this master that just did the most appropriate thing. Take a warm bath and mellow out and kind of laugh at what's going on. But don't get so involved with the emotions that get triggered, with the thoughts that tell you something, and with the body that's going to react to these crystalline energies, because it's all new. It is all new. What you are feeling and what you're experiencing is more of a survival attack, because that's what the body, the carbon-based body, the conditioned mind, and these emotions, they're all have put their allegiance in survival. So you're introducing the opposite of that, freedom, and discovering, wow, I am that freedom. So be it. As I said before, none of the Olympians could endure what you just endured in the last week. But you're still here. And in a way, you're kind of chuckling at all this. So yes, take a deep bath. Pat yourself on the back. Look in the mirror and go, wow, I'm still here. I must be an Olympian in consciousness. Well, that would be true. That's why we serve you with so much joy. Indeed. Another question. I have a passion for being free of the old conditions and for living from the heart. However, my old mind has been well trained in controlling and has difficulties letting go. Sometimes when it gets triggered, I feel I'm in a thought prison of separation. It feels like an eagle must feel when it's put in a little box. I am so tired of crazy thoughts and suffering and I know there is another way to live. Do you have support for a tired human angel? Allow the part of you that is not tired. Allow the part of you that doesn't burn you out. Allow the part of you that's not critical. Allow the part of you that accepts the self-critical part of you. Allow the part of you that accepts a carbon-based body that's frightened and burned out. Allow the part of you that doesn't use emotions to experience life. It feels from the depth of its beings a very sensuous relationship to life. So to make this so clear in black and white terms, where any of you are stuck, the solution is really simple. What you'll experience might not be what you're hoping for, but the solution is always the same. Allow, allow, and allow who you also are to be in relationship with who you also are. Indeed. One of you is suggesting that you feel lost, jittery, lonely, full of anxiety, don't know which way to turn, trying to love myself. And you go on and on. So, but, yes, I was there when you call me. I will always be there when you call me. Who are you giving voice to and calling it you? So a lot of you say, I feel lost. Start with that. Whose voice is that? Why not just pretend that you also have another voice? I never feel lost. And feel the energy that supports that truth. I'm never lonely. I wouldn't know what it feels like to be lonely. Practice giving voice to that. You don't have to actually have a human experience of it. Create a human experience now by giving voice to something that's really different. And then notice how you feel. If that's your truth, make it your truth. Indeed. Recently, I felt a passion to communicate with my eternal self in the similar manner like Robert and you are doing. I know that Robert is a bit afraid of competition from my side. We take the joke, yes. Robert's here, he wants to play with you. I'm going to push him back a little bit. But is there some specific recommendations on that from you? Or maybe my eternal self want to pass a hint towards me? Yes, indeed. If there was a fast track to this embodied enlightenment, then we could share it with you. You are sharing with us what a fast track to embodied enlightenment actually looks like and feels like. There is no quicker way to do this than what all of you are doing. We warned you before you came. You might not survive this on so many levels because it's going to create a lot of anxiety for your mind. Your mind is going to push back. Your carbon-based body is going to push back. And your emotions are just going to do what they always do, freak out. So we commend you for choosing to do something, and all of you for offering an example that for any being that wants to do this quicker than is known to any other being, then follow our lead. You've created a new example of this whole enlightenment process. It doesn't go any faster than this. Now, it gets easier when you're willing to pretend that you already are the eternal self from your mind's perspective and start giving it a voice. Robert's mind, when I first came in 25 years ago, just assumed that he was making it up. Just assumed that he was making it up. That's how deluded that mind is in relationship with what gave birth to this planet. So we would say it will be an ongoing relationship with you, in relationship with the mind. And the less you rely on the mind to define for you your reality and your truth, then that is an open invitation to allow another part of you, your eternal self, to be with you also. And there'll be experiences where you just won't be able to put words to that. And it's okay. It's okay. So if you would like me as Michael to act as a proactive mediator between you and this other part of you, then of course I do that with a lot. But be conscious of what you're asking for. It will happen naturally in its own time. So yes, we appreciate your enthusiasm and passion for wanting to have what this is, but what Robert is now, he was not 25 years ago. And he would say to all of you, 25 years from where it was to what it is now is about as fast as it could have gone for him and for him to still be on the planet. Indeed. So yes, Robert, he's looking for the next question. Here we are. You gave me some, I think, life-saving advice back in April last year. You told me not to believe in my fears. Could you please tell me where I'm standing right now on my path from fear to joy? I will not. You tell me. You tell me. Don't give me authority in that way. Because if you're giving me that kind of authority, who else are you relying on? You tell me where you are. Very good. I'll continue to support that. I'm here as your friend. I have no authority over any of you, nor do I want it. Indeed. We have another, yes. Someone who likes to be an anonymous attendee. Really? Okay. You're asking, why are you, Mikiel, Saint Germain, and Kathumi all so popular right now? Because we're so full of ourselves and we step forward. You guys have and had tons of different channelers worldwide. Why almost nobody channels good old Uriel or other 9,000 ascended masters? Well, call on them, invite them. They're right here. Uriel is right here. Call on them. Indeed. What beliefs made our Order of Michael the largest spiritual family in all of creation? And why is it named after you? Because I said, in the loneliness of who I am that. I am. Looking at my own reflection, I took ownership of my own divinity when so many were confused, lost in the void of creation. And so they gathered around me as I shared with them what I'm sharing with all of you. But I am that I am grows into this new relationship between the human and the soul. We are that. We are, indeed. So yes, we appreciate all the support. We understand where you're coming from. And there are so many questions here that we're going to skip a few repeat questions so we can give everybody the opportunity to ask a question. After the conversation, here's another question. After the conversation we had in a dream state, I made a beautiful shift into allowing myself to feel home comes to me and feeling good to stay in the physical body without being pulled into wanting to leave, because sometimes feeling the loving support and the absolute unconditional love from who we really are, it makes it difficult wanting to stay. Beautiful integration, I might say. Indeed, Robert is the first to say that here. Every single time we do a session together here and share that with all of you, every single time there's a little tiny bit of him where he has to catch his breath and ask, is this really my time? Because it would be so easy just to float off and come back to my side. And every single time I ask him, are you wanting to come back or are you wanting to stay? And so far, every single time he has said, I haven't tasted enough yet here. Nor have you, Mikiel. I choose to stay. As long as we are that we are, I choose to stay. Indeed. Another question. I am so excited. I've been really feeling the blessings of you and all the archangels and ascended masters support and work with me, and starting now to come through in actions and communications with me with others. I don't know how, but it's happening. I'm so grateful and all. The picture I saw in vision to your question in the future was me, us with stretched out hands to one another, with a beautiful golden pink light coming through to them. Sharing the light is what I am manifesting, and I believe my passion and message to demonstrate and share here. Your question then, are the coexist of the aspects and the bodies and the integration process of expansion the cause of the aches and pains, feeling of stuckness I feel in my feet and spine all over the past few days? They play a part. They play a part. So this is your lifetime to take ownership that this is, as a sovereign being, your experience of the integration that you are willing to freely share with all the different aspects, facets, counterparts, past lives, whatever you want to call them. There's quite a few. You're not withholding, but you're not into processing their resentment, their jealousy, their envy. They had their lifetime. It wasn't cut and dry. Well, you didn't get it, so now you'll never get it. That wasn't the deal. That wasn't the deal. So now that you are getting it, then they want to experience it through you. And that, give yourself more time to fully integrate the presence of who you also are, then they can experience it as your radiance touches them, as all will, indeed. Another one is stating, I watched the new Star Wars movie. I equated the Force as being a metaphor for spirit or consciousness. And as the characters became aware of the Force and allowed it to become a part of their life, is like allowing spirit and consciousness to become a part of the human base. Yes, in a way, with all of you, you know this. If I invoke Archangel Michael to come in, then as Archangel Michael, I've said to all of you, I have laid my sword down. There is no more battle, within or without. that in relationship with all of you that I choose to participate in. I lay my sword down. I lay the laser down. I lay the lightsaber down because I no longer battle with opposites. I am that. I am. I am, as a sovereign creator, also an aspect or fragment of the consciousness that doesn't know itself to be separate from anything. Indeed. Another question. Thank you for being here. Do you have some overview on me in these times, some words of advice, maybe a butt kick? Oh, my love, I am always available. For some of you, you like a very serene pat on the back or a very light touch on your head. Some of you, like the one that asked the question, enjoy really being woken up from any kind of trauma. So that's my question. How is the drama? And is it pulling you in like it once did? I see it as not. I don't see it completely freed of that, but weren't you really receptible? But a few years back, of humanity insisting that you be involved in the drama that they were creating. See, when we go from the inside out, we're also then looking at the drama going on with this carbon-based body that is not fully accepting a crystalline energy. Indeed. Another question or another statement. Thank you for this precious time together. Love, Eva. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Thank you for sharing your radiance, dear one. Another question. Thank you, Mikiel. I need more excitement in my life, a lot more. I want fun and new discoveries, and I want to let my soul guide me in this excitement. I hate feeling bored. So why are you feeling bored? Why are you not choosing to do things that are real exciting? Why are you not choosing to speak on behalf of the part of you that's already feeling very passionate about life? Then that is you. Then that becomes your creation. Who asked the question? Are you still claiming that to be your ultimate truth? Then create something different. Then stop speaking for the part that's bored. It's just looking for a little drama. Then give it a little drama so it'll shut up. And then go back to doing what's really juicy, sensual, passionate, a really turned on relationship to life. Let your soul have its way with you. Then talk to me about that. Let your soul, your eternal self, ravish you as a human being, and then talk to me about being bored. Indeed, indeed. Another one's asking, why am I still getting so sick? Am I doing something wrong? Who are you speaking on behalf for? The carbon-based body is the one that knows sickness. Accept that it's getting sick, but it's not you. Let it go through what it has to go through in order to accommodate your crystalline body. Every time you're getting sick, stop saying you've done something wrong. You've done nothing wrong. You've done something really right. You've invoked the presence of consciousness. Of course, it's going to go through a lot of cleansing for these to become compatible opposites. Be okay with it. In the meantime, have fun being sick. Doesn't make sense, does it? But do that. Just enjoy being sick and see what happens. See what happens, indeed. And a few more questions, and we're going to call it good. I'm so happy that any veil between our worlds have disappeared and be able to be dancing together. I recently have created a platform, the Salon of Joy, where I can offer events where I can finally share my wisdom, my soul presence in a variety of forms, art, lyric, dance, channeling. Of course, this is quite adventurous and also scary because I will no longer be able to look for being accepted, etc., by people. Please, would you give me some backup for this? Thank you. That you had to really, that's where we've been a little direct with you, have we not? Is this part that needed others to approve of you, needed others to accept you, for you to accept yourself, reacted to others' criticism because actually it brought to light how your mind is so self-critical of you. For you to just be in this place where you're able to have a conscious relationship with your soul. So know that the parts that have always been self-critical, that need love from outside of themselves, and you know the part that needs love outside of itself is the wounded male, is the wounded father of creation. It's not it's not enough for the wounded father of creation to love itself. It must also be loved back to feel complete. So accept that that part is alive and well inside of you. But there is also alive and well coming inside of you the divine Father who went to the sacred Mother and asked her, teach me how to love myself without needing to be loved back. And she freely gave that to the Father. And now no longer runs that energy, plays the victim, stirs up a lot of drama. But there's a lot of that energy left in past creations playing themselves out over and over and over again. We're getting there. We're getting there. One is asking, how exactly do we allow what we also are? Through breath, through feeling, and is trust basically accepting that our, yes, Robert's saying up goes the sleeve, is trust basically accepting that our consciousness is there always, and do we mentally know we are trusting and allowing? Make it real. What do we offer? What have I offered? Now, I've offered this as a living example 372 times in the last 25 years. I'm not tired of offering it, but you have to practice it. How does it feel, dear one, to lightly touch your hand, to lightly touch your arm with your hand up? How does that feel? How does that feel? Let yourself go deeply into how does it feel when you lightly touch your hand. If that's not doing it, lightly touch your face for 5 or 10 minutes. Lightly touch your body. Notice how it feels. How does it feel when you love yourself in this way? And then after practicing that, just sit there and allow your eternal self to also lightly touch you with its presence. Not analyzing, just trusting that in the same way you loved yourself, are you now open to being loved back by your eternal self? That is it. Practice that with breathing. We're done. What you're going to notice, a lot of resistance from your mind, a lot of resistance from a carbon-based body that doesn't trust love, a lot of resistance from your human emotions that believes that loving yourself will only put you in harm's way. That's why we say to all of you, you're going to have to practice imagining some of these things as being real because they are not in your past history. Indeed. Another one offers, I feel how safe I am. I feel how loved I am. I feel how much I am not alone. I feel deep gratitude. I feel the deep love of my soul. I feel my zest for life once again. I thought it would never come, and now the rainbow it is here simply because I choose it from mind and soul. And yes, I started talking to myself. It helps. Much love. And as one master to another, I bow before you. For you will be able to honestly share with so many others. It wasn't a piece of cake. It didn't come easy, but it is now here. And you choose to share it. Yes. Another one is sharing. I can't put into words the beauty of all that I feel, the joy, the love, the compassion, the gratitude. So I just say yes. And we say yes back. Indeed. One is sharing their wisdom. Evolution of the soul is ongoing, ever-changing process. Past is gone, future untold. The present is the most important. Surrounded by masters, stuck in a human body, stuck in a human past. And at the same time, allowing your freedom to join you. Does it get any better than this? Well, it does kind of, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Another asks, what is the original wound of the mother? The original wound of the mother is feeling responsible for how all of creation feels when all of creation did not have the ability to allow her presence from within them to reveal itself. Recently, it came up in a phone call with another spiritual mentor. I was told this wound is about my mother rejecting me. And this wound causes me to feel like giving up on the idea, to quit, to retreat. Can you elaborate on this wound? My confidence feels low sometimes, but not always. Yes. So the original wound of the mother of creation was feeling that she hadn't given enough of herself. She hadn't given enough of herself. Why then would all of creation not notice her presence inside of them? And so she sacrificed herself. She compromised herself, always giving, 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 for she felt responsible for what all souls lacked until she no longer did, until she discovered here on earth a love for her, and it was healed, the wound. The love that she discovered was not the same love that the Father of creation discovered. It was an unconditional love for herself. And she found in that love, she was complete. And in that completeness, her radiance as Isis overwhelmed all of creation. But only those who allowed that love to be real first in themselves felt that radiance. You, each of you. Does it get any better than this? Yeah, it does. It just keeps getting better and better because you own that same quality of love. No agenda, no conditions. Feels really selfish not to get entangled in humanity's affairs. The same story that Isis worked with, working with all of creation. Really difficult not to get pulled into all of the stories of all of creation. Indeed. Someone asks, how does one find your center in Portland? It is my private sanctuary, dear one. I, as Robert, started these teachings as a public offering. And so for the first 10, 15 years, there was a center or home, and then it moved into a healing center. And it didn't work so well for me. One, it was limited in how the teachings were able to be presented to a worldwide global audience. And humanity has a certain addiction to putting teachers on a pedestal, and it's a long ways down when they recognize that the teacher is never perfect. So I enjoy my privacy. I enjoy my sovereignty. I enjoy the freedom that comes with this technology, and I put it to use. So my presence as Mikiel is not confined to Portland, Oregon. Although if that is where you live, invite me into your home. Indeed. Yes, and from one master to another, thank you for sharing your highest bliss. Yes, we do. So we think we've come to the end of today's session, and as long as it has been, we've enjoyed this time together with all of you. We understand there is a lot more questions, but there's always next month. There's always next month. So let's play with this whole thing of what we wanted to get across here was this whole business of these opposites, and for you to just be okay with them, to make peace with it. Your carbon-based body is doing the best it can, and you're allowing these crystalline energies in that are your etheric body. It's creating a new relationship. It's brand new to these carbon-based cells. So have a little patience. Have a little patience for that mind. It doesn't know that life can be trusted. Give it tangible evidence by you choosing to act on the part that does trust life, that it's real, that you as a soul are trustworthy, that you'll never leave again this body until the body's done. And be aware of these emotions that always get stirred up, and try to pull you in to get entangled in a little trauma. It's not yours. It's your past. What's yours is how you choose to feel. You get to choose how you feel consciously when you've allowed consciousness to feel with you. All of our blessings, dear ones. Until next time.